Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's deal with images in this case. We want to add a user with an image. So let's click add on here, or we can start with the edit version since we already have this. So I can click on that to get an image. So let me go to where I have some images, and let me go to people. So of course, select whatever images you have on your system, and let's select. Now once I select, I expect to see the image here, so we need to use a little bit of JavaScript to get that to work. So let's go ahead and go to our plugin. So our plugin is Users Manager, and I want to go to the views, and this one is the add. Oh, let's go to the edit first. So in the edit, just after the form down here, I can actually add some script tags like so. So script tags can be added anywhere, it doesn't have to be down here. But in there, I want to create a function called display image. Alright, so there we go. Now this is going to receive a file, and then from there we want to create a URL of that file. Let me see here for a second. So this is going to happen in here. So when we change the value of this, we're going to call that function display image. Now I want that function to create a URL to the file that was supplied and then put it in here. Now since these are contained in the same container, it would be nice to just get the event of this one and then grab this item there. So what I would do is I'm just going to send the event over like that, because with that event we can get whatever we want. So let's leave that event and let's go back here and capture that as E. So the first thing is first, we need to tell the user if that's a valid file. So we can create a list, say allowed is equal to. Now the problem is we can't manipulate the value of the item in the file array, in the file input. So we just have to warn the user that the image is not valid. And actually what we can do is this. We can stop them from submitting if the image is invalid. So let's do this. Let's try let's just say var let's see, first of all, valid image is equal to true. Let's start with that. So we start with true because whenever the image is valid, or if they don't add an image, that counts as a valid image because the image is optional. So allowed file types include image/JPEG, image/PNG, and then image/WebP. You can add GIF as well if you want. But let's see, let file be equal to E dot, let's do current target, which is the item that created the event, and then we'll say dot files 0. So that's the first file in that file input we are grabbing, because that file input has a files attribute. So this represents that file input, and then it's got an attribute called files, and it's an array, so we're getting the first item from there. So now we can check the file.type. So we can say if not allowed dot includes file dot type. So if the file type is not included in the allowed array, then we have a problem. So here we'll do alert and say only files of type of this type allowed, like so. Here I'm going to collapse the allowed array. I'm going to use the toString method and then replace all that result, and I want to replace reference of image slash. That way I just get, you know, JPEG, PNG and WebP without these parts here. So semicolon there. But then once we do this, we have to return and not continue. But before we do that, we have to change that value. Valid image is equal to false, like so. Okay, so that's great. Return. Otherwise, if things go well, then here we're gonna say I want to grab that image actually we're gonna say e.currentTarget.parent node dot query selector img dot just a moment, I'll explain this. Dot source is equal to, and then here we'll use URL dot create object URL, and then let's put that file in there. Okay, so let me explain this line. This e.currentTarget represents the file input, and then we select the parent node, which is the parent. So if we look here, this is the input, the parent is this one. Now within the parent we query select an image tag, and then we shift the source to the file that we were given. So let's see if I got everything right. I'm gonna refresh, click on that, and then open that, and as you can see, it works like a charm. But if I try to select an image that isn't really an image, let's go ahead and look for, let's see, everything in here looks compatible. Let me look for a TXT. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, so I don't get any errors, do I? Okay, so something wrong there. I should get an alert. Let's go to the console and see. Only files of this type allowed. Allowed is undefined. Okay. So I did something weird here. Oh, see, this is not PHP, this is JavaScript, so I need to use the plus to concatenate strings. So let's try this again. I'm gonna close that, click, and let's add a file. So it says only files of this type allowed, and then there's undefined JPEG, undefined WebP. So I know why that's showing. It's because when you use replace, you have to tell it what to replace with. So in this case, an empty string like that. So let's refresh again, and let's try this again. Okay, so only files of this type allowed, JPEG, PNG, and WebP. Now, if it so happens that we do not change the value, so here valid image should get back to true once we reach this point. So I'm going to put true there. So here we're going to say function submit. Okay, then we're going to grab the event e.preventDefault. And then we're going to say alert, please add a valid image. Okay, something like this. So here what we want to check is if not valid image. And then we'll do all of this like so. However, if the image is valid, we're going to ignore all of this here. Prevent default and then return. Alright, so this submit will prevent a submission if the image is not valid. So we can do that by calling the thing on submit. So we're going to say on submit. Let's call that function like so. And let's make sure we put that event in there. Alrighty then. So let's test this out. I'm going to refresh and click on that and then add an invalid file like so, and then just pretend like nothing happened and then click save. Oh no. It seems to have worked. Okay. That wasn't what I wanted. Wait a minute. Oh, we went to the view. Let's click. So that's not valid. And save. Okay, so something is wrong here. On submit, submit. Maybe submit is reserved. So let's do submit form like that. We change the function name to submit form. Okay, and then we have an event there. Let's click invalid file, save, please add a valid image. Okay, so that works. So I guess the submit function name is reserved. Please add a valid image. Okay, great. That's because I tried to add an image that was invalid. So let's go to images now, and let me go to where I have people. Let me add this guy and hit save. This time it should work. Okay. But the image isn't saving because we don't have the data, the code to accept that. So let's go back to our edit controller. And in here, I want us to deal with the images. Now, by the time we get here, errors have already been dealt with. So we need a way to upload the image right at the top here before we get in here. Here we just move the file itself. So if we go to our models in the main app, let's go to request. There's all this stuff here in the request. So we have an uploads folder, upload errors. So we do have an upload errors thingy here. That's great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in the edit.php here, I'll try and I want to add this error thingy here for image, like so. Okay, so I'm gonna do image like that. If there's an error, it should show up in there. Now let's go back to request and upload the errors. How are these saved? If I am not mistaken. So upload errors is equal to, okay, upload files, string key. Right. So name, file not found, Okay. Okay, so what's important here, the thing I'm trying to look for, is the key that we use in upload errors here to deal with things. So there is a key over here, and that's the key name we are supposed to be using. So I'm gonna copy this and put it everywhere that I reference this, like so. All right. Great. And then over here, files key, get one. If empty, where does key come from? Where is key coming from? So if key is empty, empty key, get one. Okay, so this is weird, confusing, because there's key here and then we are looping here and there's as key as well. So it's better to excuse me to change the key in the loop. So here we're just going to say I key like that, and let's use I key there so that it knows exactly what we are talking about. Okay, this matches that. Great. Okay, I think that actually does it. It's the same thing here. There's file not found. Okay, we have name. I've get one empty. Okay, the problem is here this is empty, so yeah, if there's a key, wait a minute, get one is equal to true if get one, if not empty key. Okay, so which means this key exists. Okay, so I'm gonna grab that instead and put it here. Alright, so the reason I'm changing these keys is because this represents the, if I go to the edit here, it represents this key here, which is the file name itself there. So I want that to be where the errors are stored, that way I don't have to think about the keys that are in the request here. It will be automatic to whatever you name your input. Okay, so I think at this point we have everything we need. So we just need to upload files, and then we can grab errors from there if that any errors do occur. That's upload errors. Okay, so back to the edit controller now. This is inside the users manager, so I'm going to click edit controller. So at this point we go through this, right? But then we do uploading of images as well. So wait a second. I want to see if it self-corrects here, if it checks on its own. If empty, not empty, what if it's empty? It just ignores it. And then uploaded here is equal to emptiness. Okay, I think that actually works. So let's do this. Okay, so post data, let's duplicate this. Let me change that to file data and change that to files. Okay, so file data is here. I have to make sure it's not empty. So what I'm gonna say is wait. This part should be optional, so it's important to do this, let's see, because I don't want it to save. Okay, let's create a variable here and say files present. Let's just call it files OK, right? And then I'll put it here. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so we start with true because even when there's no file, we should allow this to happen. But then we're going to say if not empty, files data, file data, and then here we're going to say file or image request upload files, and the key of the file is just one file I want to upload, is just image, like that. Okay, now if nothing happens here, or this is empty, now we just need to check for errors actually here. So if empty, if not empty, request upload errors. If that's not empty, then files OK is equal to false. All right, so excuse me. Then here we're going to do an array merge, and then we put several arrays here. So that, and also the request upload errors, like that. Okay, so the array we are supplying here is a merge of these two, the errors from the users array, users class and the request class, in case there are any upload errors. If there are none, it's fine because this will be an empty array, nothing will occur here. But what we want is not to proceed if the upload process failed, but if it worked well, then image is something. So we're going to add it to post data directly here. So I'm going to say post data and put image like so. That way, once we do that, the file has been moved. We return back the file name, and then it will be saved as part of this. So let's see if things work as we see them. So I'm going to click edit, and here add an E as always. Then I'm going to save and see if that actually works. So it says an error occurred with file. Okay, so an error did occur. Let's try this. So nothing was saved. Okay, so let's put an E again and let's hit save. So it says an error occurred with file again. So let's fix that. What's happening? We didn't send a file, so we don't expect any of this. So let's check inside the request and see which part of this deals with this. So if the error is greater than 0, so nothing was uploaded, right? But why does it even show anything at all? So what I'm going to do is this. I just want to see what's inside here when... Oh, I see. The problem with this is it actually creates an array whether there are files or not. So let's try this. Let me show you that. We're going to refresh. and you see there it is. It actually creates one that's empty. Error is 4, which means file not found, I guess. So what we need to check for is if name is not empty over here from the first item here in the array, and name exists. So how do we do this? So we need to, because this could be several arrays here. There could be this one, another one. Now we can use array column to just grab the name from every one of these and then try to check what's going on there. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to grab this. Okay, and then I will say let's do file names is equal to array column. Okay, array column right. In fact, let's put this here. Empty get one, and let's do this name there. Okay, file not found. Okay, so that way we are directly going to check for the name. If that's empty, then we say file not found. And then this only works though if we specify a key, because get one only activates when we have a key. But what if we don't have a key and we are looping through all of those? So then what we do is we grab all the file names and then check if the array is empty. So the input array is this one. The column we're looking for is name. So here we will say, let's see, file not found. So this is an array, what? If not empty files, yeah, actually, let me move this away from here up to there. Alright, we do this here. So we'll say if empty file names, let's return. Alright, so that sorts that problem. So if we try to upload, we will return uploaded actually. Let me copy that and paste it here. Okay, that sorts out our problem. And then, which means we don't need to check for this anymore if that is empty at all. So let me remove this. And this is a repeat over here, so let's remove that as well. And let me come here and remove this like that. Okay, so we can now shift all of this one step away, like so. Alright, good. So at this point, if there are no file names in there, we're returning at here. So that's great. We don't even need this anymore. If this is empty, file not found. So if the file isn't there, we just ignore things. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave this for now, just in case there's a scenario I haven't thought about. Then let me refresh. Okay, so I'm still getting the file not found. Form expired. Oh, did it? Yeah, I'm only getting form expired because, oh, okay, it actually works well. All right, so what's happening here now? I don't want this error showing. This one, file not found, key name. So the question is, why did it bypass this? Okay, so what I'll do is, let's see what's inside file names at this point, and then do die. Okay, so there's an emptiness there, which is correct. So if empty file names, it should have returned by now. So why isn't it returning? This one is empty. Okay, so I guess empty doesn't work as I thought with arrays here. For as long as it's got something in there, then it's not empty. I see. But this is empty. Okay, so we need a different technique here to look at all the items in there. This part has let me down. Let me do var dump here, like so. I want to see the result of empty here, so I can confirm what's happening. Empty, false. So it means it has something, it's not empty, which is not correct. Okay. Okay, so in this case we have to change our technique. We have to go through each item in the array and check if there is at least something. So I don't know what else to use apart from a for each loop here. So let's just go ahead. I was trying to avoid using this at all. So I'm just going to say found is equal to false. And then as we loop through these guys, instead of key and value, I'm just going to say I and value, but that's fine. So we'll put an if statement here and say if not empty. So if one of them at least is not empty, then here we're going to break like that. So we mentioned that found is true, then we break. Then here all I need to do is check if not found. Then let's exit this function. So this has made it a little bit more complex, the code here, but you can refactor it if you study it properly here and see what can be trimmed out and stuff. For example, this part can be trimmed out, but let me just make sure that it's not doing what it was doing before. Okay, so it doesn't show me that form file not found anymore, which is great. So which means I can remove this part, I don't need it. Okay, so hopefully everything is cool here. Let me just show you the function so that in case you missed something, you can fix it. That's the function right there. You can pause the video there. Alright, so if that's working out as intended, let me go back. Let's go edit again. I want to put that E there and see if it will actually save. Record edited successfully. Okay, so it did work. So if I come back, let's remove that E, but let's add a photo as well. And let me hit save. Okay, so now record edited and our photo is permanent. If I click back, you will see that we now have a photo here. Let me click edit, click that. Let's add another user for the admin here. And let's hit save. Okay, so there we go. Back, we have images now doing their thing. Now, since we have that working here, it will just be a stone throw away to make it work here as well on the ad. So this is all good, but let's go to the edit controller. So at this point, I want to copy some stuff from here. For example, the files data. I'm going to come back here. Let's paste that. And then after this part, we add this here. So back again. This doesn't really matter. We can add it here. Not a big deal. And then it's just that we need to add this as well. Files okay. Let me do that like so. Oops. Okay, there we go. So files okay. Blah blah blah. Post data image. Insert. Okay, so that should work as intended. Go back to the edit here. Make sure I haven't left anything. And the next thing is the edit view itself. We want to add that error message. So I'm going to go to the add view and paste that part. So just after this, paste like so. Doop, doop, like that. And then also we need to go back to the edit and collect that script tag here. So get everything from the script, back to the add, and just after the form here, we will add that script tag over here. Let me move it one step back, like so. And we need that on change event listener on this. Okay, so get back here. Where are we? There, on change event listener. So let me copy that to the add and paste. Okay, that should solve the problem. So let's refresh on new record and let's try. Let me add a user. Okay, so we'll just try Mary at email.com. The gender is female. Let's put a password here. Now, if we don't put a password, we may have a problem when we refresh the page. Let's say I hit save and we say a password is required. Now the image is gone, so you may have to add that one more time. Okay, so let's put password here and password there. And then let's hit save. Actually, these two should probably be changed to password types. So let me save, and there we go. So we have a new record, and there it is. So let me just change that final thing on the add here. These are of type. This should be of type password, and password here as well. Okay. Let's do the same in the edit. Hopefully it's already there. No, apparently not. Password type and password type here as well. Okie dokie. Things are looking great. Alright, so now we can add, edit, and all that, which is great. But when deleting as well, we should be able to, let's not forget that, when we delete, we should be able to delete the old image. So I can show you if I go to view like this and then open this item in a separate window like this. I want, when I edit this record, I want it to delete the old record. So we can do that by going to the edit controller. So right about here where we're updating, first of all, I want to know if post image exists. If it does, then it means we are replacing we're replacing images. So or we did replace an image, right? Remember that we have this row that is loaded before we update. So this contains the old data. So what we can do is I can say if not empty post image, right? If that's not empty, then here I will say something like unset. No, not unset, unlink. That's how you unlink or you delete an image like that. Okay, so before we have a catastrophic failure here, we have to check if the file exists. So say file exists, that one. So if this is not empty, the new image is there and the old image exists, then delete it like that. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to show you whether it works or not. Let's click on edit. I'm gonna click here so I can change this image to another user. So that's our new user, but remember the old image is here. If we refresh and it's still there, then it wasn't deleted. Then if I save there, let's try now and refresh this, and it says page not found, which means it was deleted successfully, which is awesome. Now we should do exactly the same thing on the delete as well. Once a record is deleted, we don't want that image existing anymore. So once we do this, then we have to do that, but we don't have to check for this. We just have to check if the file exists, and let's remove it because it's not a replacement. Okay, so that works. When we delete a record, that we will delete. So we haven't tried the delete function here, so I just want to try that, and I'll open this image in here just to be sure that it's deleted once we delete the record. So I'm going to click on delete. Are you sure you want to delete this? Delete. Now we have an issue here. So it says undefined variable data in model on 128. So let's go and fix our model. So we go to model.php here, and then we go to 128, which is right there. So query data. Okay, so data is not a thing, and yeah, so we do have issues here. Okay, so what I was supposed to have done is saying data something like ID. Yeah, I want to grab, so where this is equal to that. So this is what we are trying to find. Let me put an underscore here. I just want to make sure that there's no key like that in the table. Okay, so we grab this, put it here as the key, and then what do? We need a value where this primary key ID is equal to ID. Okay, so that's the value right there. So we're gonna do this like so. Okay, that solves that problem. Let's refresh and let's resend. Okay, so record deleted successfully. Very good. All right, so as we go on, we're improving our framework at the same time, making sure that everything is tested and it's working fine. By the time we finish with all the basic plugins that come with the framework will be in good shape. Okay, so far so good. In the next video, let's look at file permissions here, because here we are deleting and editing stuff without even having permission. So anyone can do this right now. So we need those permissions to be working. So we're going to handle that in the next video.